Love this place!
Hey, man, is that
Double D?
Yeah, man. Well, turn it up, man.
Let's just go in and, like, kill all the orcs, right? They're the bad guys, who gives a shit? We just hack and slash and we loot their dead bodies, right? Hack and slash, kill them all, you know, conquer the infidels.
Boy, that campaign sounds like a barrel of fun, doesn't it?
Somebody who's opening a refrigerator and leaning in, right, is the language of a woman. Somebody who's opening their refrigerator and being cut off halfway through that lean is the voice of like a mermaid or a siren, right?
This is not the face of the hobby anymore. And I think there's been mistakes made in years past where people assumed that D&D players were all, you know, white dudes in a basement, which has been a faulty assumption for a lot of years and gets more and more false every day. And so it's, in my viewpoint, honestly, guys like me can't leave soon enough.
I just had to be born with empathy and a weakness for socialism and femboys. For socialism and femboys.
For socialism and femboys.
You gotta put a little hot sauce on the taco, you know what I mean?
We want this dwarf to be the dwarfiest dwarf.
Right.
We want the elf to be the elfiest elf.
And just the dashiest dash of Tabasco.
Their voices need to carry across water.
I'm a creative. It's a huge drain, right? Because fans can be awful.
When we got the descriptions, they were very adamant. They were like, try not to make it like a white blonde guy. Like, please, like, we love him, but there's like 500 million of them.
The diversity that the characters need to have needs to reflect the gaming world now. The mix of people that are playing these games, you know, it's not, you know, 13-year-old white boys held up in their basements. It's a very diverse crowd, you know.
You say white lives matter, they don't. White lives don't matter because white lives aren't a thing.
What's this? What's this? It's the jacket.
The jacket.
The jacket.
Lutherville, Marina Del X, Otisburg. Otisburg? Who's this Martha? She's got her own place. Otisburg? It's a little bitty place. Otisburg? Okay, I just wipe it off. That's all. It's a little town. Yep.
Okay. We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live! Fuck it! Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live! Fucking thing sucks!
Yeah. 5, 4, 3.
Great sandwich.
Say hello to Jordy the Midget.
On guard.
Have a look at the headlock here. See that chap over there? Get your hand off my penis!
Double zeros, baby! Well, howdy ho, neighborinos. How you doing today, Diver Nation? See who we got here. Ooh, I already saw Patrick was here earlier. Good to see you, my friend. Matthew, Surly. Last night on something or other. It's like, it's got 3 dots after it. Last night on Earth, maybe? I don't know. Steve Cavadas. Hungar. Attaboy. Good to see you, my friend. Frank, Dueling Dragon Adventures. I appreciate you guys coming out on an off day. But I thought it was a good day to talk to this guy. Greg Lambert.
How's it going?
How you doing, my friend?
Gregzilla.
Gregzilla, yes. You've been busy. You have something cooking over on Kickstarter. Is that not true?
That's right. Yeah, the Titans of Fallen Earth role-playing game.
I'll tell you what, give a brief elevator pitch for it, and then we will watch a pretty cool trailer that you put together.
Okay.
What's your 1 minute elevator pitch?
Titans of Fallen Earth is the ultimate kaiju versus mecha role-playing wargaming experience at the table. It harkens back to all the stuff that you grew up with and thought was cool then and is still cool now, like Terminator, the Road Warrior, Akira, Aliens, the Godzilla movies, all the classics. So it's got a real retro throwback vibe. You can play as mecha pilots, you can play as kaiju, massive destruction, but it's also post-apocalyptic, so it's got a darker and grittier retro-futurism vibe compared to some of the newer kind of weeby anime stuff that you might run into. And that was our goal. I wanted to make something that didn't exist out there, which was an actually cool kaiju game. And that's what I've been working on for the past year.
Pretty good pitch. I tell you what, let's watch a trailer. I think you guys are going to like this. This is really well done.
The world ended in a sea of fire on September 1st, 1989. The bombs took out more of us than of them. There are survivors crawling through the ruins, trapped by endless storms of smoke and ash. Now those things are coming back, just like they did before. But this time, we'll be waiting. This time, we can stop them.
That is really cool. That's you can tell where some of the money upfront money went into that beautiful artwork, which I think is probably needed for a game like this. So I think it was money well spent. I don't think you could kind of scrimp on the artwork on a project like this.
No, we wanted it to have a very cinematic feel to it. Wanted to have every single chapter be completely unique from an art perspective, layout, coloring, the design language of all the mechs for each faction is completely different and completely unique. So you don't even need the table of contents. You can flip through the book and know immediately what chapter you're going to just by what it looks like. That's part of what we wanted to get into.
I like too that you're able to. I actually, believe it or not, I actually don't mind like bright, like colorful artwork. And you showed, as you can see, kind of behind me here.
Yeah,
like you showed that you can do it good without kind of doing it kind of the way like Wizards of the Coast does with just that kind of
as the Aussies call it, Technicolor yawn. That awful kind of brightness. This is like this is like a brightness that really grabs you. I really like that picture. That's why I put it up behind me. So I think you're striking the right tone here, with this artwork.
Yeah, all my artists are comic book artists. They're not, mainstream type of video gaming artist people. They all have their own little comic books. One guy is doing a comic book that's like hardcore berserk, like blood and guts, like medieval fantasy, that type of stuff. So all these guys know what I'm looking for.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. So this is the Kickstarter. Full disclosure, guys, I did back. You'll find that, I think, with almost every kind of Kickstarter campaign I have. If I'm going to ask you guys to take a serious look at it, I should at least have the balls to pony up the money if it's something I like. And honestly, if it wasn't something I kind of wanted to, send to my audience, I'd probably just politely decline and say, that might not be for me. But even though this isn't expressly in my wheelhouse, to me, I thought it was interesting enough that I'm going to take a flyer on it because I think it looks like it could be pretty fun, actually, especially for like a one shot or something like that.
It's not sessions. Lame like Lancer. No, I'm sorry, I have an ongoing war with Lancer that will never end.
Nice. I can see here you've met your initial goal of 5, but we definitely want to take that higher with 8 days to go.
Yeah. I'm really surprised. I was kind of expecting most of the guys in your chat to have already backed it, because I know I recognize Shark. He's been in the chat with me several times on other streams, like the Basic Expert. I think he was on there.
I've known Shark for over 20 years online.
Yeah.
We used to run in the same circles back in the day. We used to be the only like a couple of the only conservatives on this really left-leaning message board. Boy, that was fun. It's really fun. So tell me a little bit, Titan Die 6. Tell me a little bit about the system that we're going with here.
Well, we went through a lot of iterations of the actual gameplay system as we continued to design the game. And at first and it kind of tells the story right there, but basically we started with D20 because originally I started as Chronicles of Iris making high fantasy 5th edition D&D stuff. And I got tired of that briefly because, Wizards of the Coast was being retarded. And we decided to kind of go in a different direction and make our own thing with this. And I started wanting to do like a 5e D20. I'm like, no, this is dumb. Like, that doesn't fit this type of game at all.
See, it seems a lot of people are kind of getting away from that. Like a few years ago, it was like, well, of course you have to kind of tie into the 5e, atmosphere, the infrastructure, the environment. Now I think a lot of people are it's almost expressly the opposite of that. People are like, I don't want to be associated with them. So I can kind of see why you made that decision.
And we looked at one of my favorites is old West End Games, D6 with Star Wars, which was a pretty good fit. And we looked at Mechton Zeta as well by Mike Pondsmith. Both are good games. But in the end, it felt like the most fun in this type of game, which is giant monsters versus giant robot mecha fighting, apocalyptic style of action. Rolling more dice is fun. So we decided to stick with the D6 system and have big pools of dice that you roll and add it up and like get into, the 30 D6, the 40 D6, Shadowrun Champions type of stuff. So that's how we felt that was fun.
Not only that, like even like the 40K aspect, the buckets of dice, because it does kind of seem like a blend between an RPG and maybe a little bit of a war game. I don't think there's anything wrong with, like I said, leaning into that.
Yeah.
Get as many dice sixes as you have, or, buy more if you need them. I tell you, it's fun. I mean, you maybe don't want to do it if you have a weekly role-playing game, doing it every night, but
Sure.
But for something like this, for this kind of environment, this kind of game, yeah, I like it. I think it was a good choice.
We wanted to kind of target a lot of the guys that are playing BattleTech. Which
yeah.
is the last kind of real mech game that's out there. Warhammer 40K and those games don't count because they're not like mech, like wargaming.
Right.
And so we have some elements of that, such as some multiple factions, developing a theater of war that you expand outward with the fog of war, and completing objectives and missions, and kind of retaking what used to be Earth that belonged to humanity, and you're slowly retaking that and rebuilding civilization through your actions. And that's a lot of where the work. Plus, it's designed for miniature use at the tabletop. You can do theater of the mind, but we always envision like at least having some kind of grid with this.
Right. Is there any kind of like miniature line that might like handle this, or can like 3D printing kind of handle this for folks that like that aspect of it?
Well, for kaiju, which are the giant monsters, and some of your audience might be familiar with that, some might not be, but think of Godzilla and all the monsters that Godzilla fights. Those are kaiju.
Oh, yeah.
I would say any type of weird fantasy monster could be a good stand-in. There is another miniature game. I think it was called Monster Apocalypse or something like that. That recently kind of collapsed inward, and they decided that company's, I guess, over with or something like. So if you still have miniatures from that, pick those up, or you can use them. As far as the mechs are concerned, there's so many mech miniatures out there.
Yeah.
Especially with BattleTech. Those are not hard to find at all. Heck, you can go, and there used to be this old mech Hero Clicks type of mech BattleTech game. I forget what the name of it was, but you can go and find like a bucket of those because nobody plays that game anymore. It's dead. Like you can find a bucket of those for like $10 on like Troll and Toad or whatever sometimes. So easy to find this type of stuff.
This may sound off the wall. What did you think of the movie Robot Jocks?
Victor Gorchev will have more to say about that because that was his introduction to this whole genre. I actually have not seen Robot Jocks.
Oh, okay. I think you got to see it because it's pretty cool. Now it's obviously a little bit more. I don't even want to say campy, but
yeah,
probably a different.
I know about it. The infamy is well known, but.
Yeah, we had it as for a movie night last year outside, and I actually quite enjoyed it. I guess it does kind of beg the question, like, does this system, is it kind of just set up for, one kind of tone, this kind of apocalyptic? Could you make it a little bit more campy and, like, I guess fun, for lack of a better word?
I mean, you can if you wish. Nothing is stopping you. The rules are pretty open, and customization options are pretty extensive for making a Titan or designing the game if you're the game master. Real quick, Dirty Old Grognard had an earlier question. Where can I get this D6 system? The system is baked into this game. It's called Titan D6. However, when this game is released, we are going to have a standalone reference document for just the D6 system, Titan D6, and we're going to put that up as a free download, and you can use that and make any type of game with that. I've tested it with fantasy, horror, sci-fi, cyberpunk. It's very flexible. But yes, please continue.
What made you? I know you've had a couple of. I don't know if they weren't like game systems there. I think they were maybe like campaign settings or source books before this, but what kind of inspired you to pick up the pen, so to speak, and create?
Well, we played D&D, AD&D in the 90s, as most people my age did. And we got back into it after many, many years with 5th edition. And at the time that we started playing 5th edition, there was no internet culture surrounding it or there was no critical role. There was none of this.
Yep. It was just a
ridiculousness.
decent game.
It was
Just
just
a
a
good game.
decent game. And it kind of reminded us of second edition in many ways. And we played it for a while. And then we were kind of looking for a good setting, and there was no Dragonlance because Wizards of the Coast sucks, and their Dragonlance was like too problematic for them, I guess. I don't know. And then so we decided to release our own system, our own setting that we had in high school, which was kind of a Tolkien-esque Dragonlance high fantasy setting, because there just wasn't anything like that at all. It's not the Forgotten Realms, which is a kitchen sink type of thing. And so we made a few setting books for that, and that's really how we got started into this whole hobby thing.
Patrick Demo for $5. Thank you, Patrick. Didn't the Die 6 system just have a successful revival on Kickstarter? Are you talking, I think, Patrick, about the West End Games Die 6 system, perhaps? Are you aware of what he's talking about, Greg?
No. I know that the D6 system that West End Games used is a free download. There's an open source version of it out there.
Yeah, I think that's what he was referring to. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe they just kind of prettied it up for like a Kickstarter. I'll have
quite
to
possible.
check into that. Yeah, just obviously kind of a way to repackage something. Oops. Thank you again, Patrick, for your donation, for supporting the channel. All right, so this is I actually played a mecha game at Gen Con this year. Rogan, my buddy Rogan, and I.
Okay.
It was enjoyable, but I'm not sure the DM. The DM had a hard time kind of separating, like where the pilot was, where the mecha was. Oftentimes we were wondering, like, are we in our mech right now? Are we, maybe that was just a fault of the DM, but it does kind of beg the question if you're trying to run a game like this, the role playing aspect. Are you role playing like maybe the pilots and maybe sort of like the politics or like adventures outside the mech, and then kind of like maybe like a TV show, at some point they're going to strap into their mech at some point and duke it out with either a monster or another mech during the night? Is it more pilot focused for most of the game, and then the mechs are kind of like a spice?
No. It's actually the opposite. 95% of the game is Titan on Titan combat.
Gotcha.
Make you pilot, and your pilot's skills translate into what you can do inside the Titan. And so most of it is the giant monster and robot action. Now you do have gameplay that you can do outside of your mech, but you're not going to be on the battlefield just hopping in and out of your mech, because you're gonna die. This is it's a high lethality game. Imagine the future scene in Terminator, where humanity, the resistance, is just getting wiped out by these machines. It's that type of thing. Like, you're not going to be playing anime romance scenes in this game, like, for the most part. But in order to upgrade your Titan and buy new weapons and increase your skills and things with experience points, that requires downtime. So you can have multiple characters, of course, to handle that, or you can kind of treat that downtime as like outside of the mech RPG time, where you explore your base and maybe you can negotiate for better weapons and equipment, or even do some side missions. Like, there's one specific NPC that can take you on bounty hunter missions where you're trying to hunt down these extraterrestrials that are in disguise, and if you catch them, you can get some money on the side, that type of thing. But that's not the major point of the game. The major point is the cataclysmic combat in the post-apocalyptic like battlefield.
Gotcha. So, all right. I'm always thinking like miniatures. How cool this would be. Like, I'm thinking in my mind, like, I have all these like wooden blocks. I mean, I can imagine like setting up like part of like a ruined city with these things, and then just going to town with like some miniature. Is that the way you play
Yeah, and that's we did a play test on stream with patio cakes.
Yeah, he said he's played this and he really likes it.
Yeah, he had some of the Monster Apocalypse stuff, which includes like buildings and obstacles, and like one of the things was like the Eiffel Tower, and I'm like, well, you're not in Paris, but he put the Eiffel Tower on the battlefield anyway. It's still like a thing, and like he ended up winning that fight by picking up the monster and like impaling it onto the Eiffel Tower like it was a giant like spear, just like killing it. So that was pretty fun. Surly Unicorn described that would be fun to body slam a giant monster into a skyscraper. Yes, you can do that. Shark has asked, what kind of variety of epic weapons do the mechs have in this game? Everything that you could want, brother. Like everything that you could think of that you would want from, but it's all kind of, I want to say grounded in reality, but that's not quite true because nothing in this game is grounded in reality. But like, for example, they took a giant concrete saw that was used to cut through like steel rebar, and they repurposed that as something you can put on your mech. So, you know, now you have a giant concrete chainsaw that can cut through like monster armor, giant drills and flamethrowers and stuff like that, and chemical weapons. It scales up pretty significantly. You can put a tac nuke on your back, shoot that off, and be like, Starship Troopers, you see a bug hole, nuke it. Like that type of thing. So it can get pretty crazy.
Just to show what Patty was talking about, I think this is what Patty was talking about. Yeah, classic Dice 6. Yeah, it looks like they just repackaged the old West End games. Yeah,
money tape. I wish I could make that money. Whereas no, that looks like a slick project for sure. You know, more power to them. They obviously put a lot of effort into it.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, I love like the feel of this. I like the layout. I believe you have a partner who actually does maybe like the layout. Is that true?
Yeah, my buddy Frank, who was my first and original D&D player in the 90s, been playing role-playing games that whole time. And it's just me and him. I do all the writing and the stuff like this, the social media, and he does all the design and layout and videos and music and all that stuff.
Yeah,
we don't have a team of writers. I don't have people contributing to this. It's just me and Frank. Yep.
You have a soundtrack for this game that you can get, I believe, as an add-on or a separate tier, correct?
Yeah, that's our highest tier. We're going to have a limited edition CD soundtrack, official soundtrack, designed for play during the game. So each faction will have multiple combat themes that you can use. There's atmospheric tracks for like sneaking around, exploring the wasteland. That type of thing is what we're going for.
And did your buddy did the music for this too?
Yeah, he's doing the music for that too. He's a multi-talented guy.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say, like, make sure he's always your friend.
Yeah,
when you have interesting people like that in your life, those are the kind of people you want to hold on to. Wow.
He was an Olympic boxer. He was in a state Olympic championship. Like, the guy's like a Renaissance.
I was gonna say a real Renaissance man. Looks like you can also get some extra 6-siders if you're short on those, as well as the soundtrack. I just love these kind of self-contained, projects like this. It's like you get the game, the soundtrack, if you wish.
We keep it simple. No stretch goals, no extra chapters. I want it to be a fully complete, ready to go game where you're not waiting on a stretch goal and you're like, oh, I wish the game had this.
Right.
But it's not going to have it unless they hit the stretch goal. No, that's not us. I want it to have what you want. Like, I want the players to have what they want in the game without having to pay extra money for it.
I mean, I've seen so many garbage games that just have had cheaper layout than this.
Yeah.
This is beautiful layout. And of course, like you just said, sometimes they'll be making, hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's like, where's the justice? Because like this is, maybe people don't realize, but like this is this is really good stuff, like from a design perspective.
And I can't even get them to redistribute the wealth anymore. That's so sad.
I know.
So sad for me.
Let's I tell you what, we'll take a quick look also, because you were kind enough to give me kind of a preview copy of the game. We won't spill the beans too much, but
the soundtrack, Surly, is a synth soundtrack, and I basically told Frank I would like for it to sound like a PlayStation 1 game, like a Metal Gear Solid or something like that. And he's like, okay, so we're going for that real retro vibe with this. It's not going to be like a new retro wave, like it's not going to be like that kind of like thing.
Driving beat.
Yeah, it's more like good atmospheric stuff from like the 90s, like
Vangelis type of.
Sega Saturn, PlayStation 1 arcade vibe.
All right. Where are we here? Okay. So that is your cover, right? Yep. That's perfect.
That's the digital cover. The background that you have there with the orange, that's the book cover.
Even better.
That's gonna wrap around. So that's a front and back wrap around with the spine.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Nice. Honestly, I think they're both super cool. I mean, they're really good. Yeah, growing up, your first line here, the nostalgic memories, and I'm in Northwest Pennsylvania, so when I was growing up in like the late 70s, early 80s, we had a show like Big Chuck and Little John. That was kind of like the the late night hosts, your classic local TV. And I remember watching so many of these like Godzilla movies at that time. Such great memories.
On the USA Network. And
Night Flight
and Joe Bob Briggs.
Yep.
All the good stuff. That's where I got a lot of introduction to giant monsters. The table of contents is a little messy. You can probably ignore that for now. You need to clean that up.
Yeah. This is just a preview, but this kind of gives you a nice sense of like the professional layout here.
Yeah, we tell the whole story of what happened to the Earth and what it's like now, and then basically just get straight into the game. In our previous books, which are high fantasy books, we spend an extraordinarily long time delving into the lore, and that we don't do it with this as much. We keep it just to the important facts. People don't have to read 40 pages to get the gist of it.
Yeah, I gotta say, because we haven't talked very much, outside of this. Of course we kind of run in the same circles, but as I look at this, I'm just you literally just sent this. I got this right before the show, so I'm kind of seeing this for the first time. I am just floored by the quality of this.
Oh, thanks. Yeah,
that is really good. I mean, your art budget was well spent. This is the kind of book. Honestly, I think even if you don't end up playing this, I would just want to like take this to like the, whatever restaurant you're going to for a quick bite and just take it with you just to like look at. Like this shit is like I'm such a sucker for that kind of like old school tech readout. The black and the green, especially when it's like nice and bright like this. Me being an old fart. I just love reading this kind of stuff. I'm a sucker.
We wanted
for it.
the stat blocks to kind of remind you of that Apple II computer.
Yeah.
Or like the war games, style of vibe that I grew up with in the 80s. So just a quick clarification, the game, as you saw in the trailer, the world ends in 1989. So it's kind of a little bit of retrofuturist or alternate history. So, Ronald Reagan was just stopping the president at the time, and we're left in this world that the level of technology is essentially 1990, and so there's no internet. It's very primitive. Whatever internet there is like the old DARPA net, Usenet boards and stuff like that. So it's all very analog.
I love that sort of analog future vibe.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for it. I'm a mark, as they say in wrestling. Yeah, but Bleeker has a good point here. Just stepping kind of outside. Yeah. You do have to kind of watch, when you introduce music into your RPGs. You don't want it to be disruptive. If anything, you'd either want it to be either ignored or people to say like, "Oh, that's nice," that's kind of nice, and then move on. You don't ever want it to be like the feature. So if it's just something that kind of you can play in the background, it sounds like that's what your soundtrack is. You can just kind of keep it on low in the background and kind of just sets a good mood.
You can do that, but thinking of back in the day, like playing like an old Final Fantasy game, you had your battle music. If you want to put on like the battle theme.
I see. Yeah. In my group, my buddy Crazy Mouse, they would always do that with the Sultans of Swing, Dire Straits. Turn it on. So for a while we were doing that. Yeah. I guess during combat that is kind of a different animal. But yeah, if you're just playing,
you got to get pumped up a little bit.
Yeah, get the old blood flowing, for sure. But yeah, this is like so good. All right, I'm not trying to spill the tea too much here, so I'm just kind of jumping ahead with.
Yeah, you're gonna pass by some sections that aren't fully laid out yet, but that's okay. I mean, we have tons of full page illustrations like that all throughout the game. That shows you.
It's so important. I mean, I hate to say it. I know you kind of like grit your teeth a little bit, when you're paying for the art, but like when you have these full page splashes, it's worth it. Like if I'm flipping the page and I see this, just you know what it does? It makes me want to turn to the next page.
Yeah,
it does. All right, let me go a little bit further and then we'll stop. You guys, first hit is free, kid.
Yeah,
gotta pay for the next one. Ooh, I like these too.
Yeah, we have
I love these. Yeah, this is, like I said, you're kind of hitting all the right marks because I'm a sucker for these these little size things too. Like here's the average human.
Yeah, you can kind of turn the book sideways to get a better look at it if you had the book in your hand.
Yeah.
Somebody earlier asked how much the book was, and I am only charging $30 for this hardcover book, which is unheard of. You're not going to find anything of this quality at that price.
It's I already looked, guys, and it's, if you're in the US, it's only $38 with shipping. I mean, that is just a night out at Buffalo Wild Wings these days.
Yeah.
Skip that and get this. You won't regret it. I'm actually looking forward to this now. I believe you said that you're pretty much done. There's some cleanup work. You're pretty much done writing the core rules, and obviously we know you're working directly with your layout person. So there's not going to be any issues there. I guess it's probably just comes down to printing, right?
Pretty much, and play testing. We've done quite a bit, but always room for some more play testing. We'll be firing up some, instead of like some just quick one-on-one skirmishes like with patio cakes. I do plan to run like a full mission or two, maybe even start like a short little campaign pretty soon. See how that works out. I just finished laying out the combat chapter. That's the longest, though actually the longest chapter is the combat chapter. And the reason for that is because, I call it a kaiju versus mecha simulation. But it's not Acts 2. I'm not simulating like real world, like this is the air velocity of an unladen swallow. Like none of that. We don't have charts for that. Instead, the simulation is I want to simulate a scene from your favorite mecha or giant monster thing. If you're watching Godzilla versus Kong, let's give or Pacific Rim, a recent example. The scene, have you seen Pacific Rim?
I did, yes.
The famous scene where they're fighting in the city, and he picks up the oil tanker and uses it as a baseball bat.
yes.
So
I love that. Yeah.
So most of the other kaiju mecha games use like Power by the Apocalypse or Fate Core or something where it's like they have
garbage. Yeah.
These
garbage
rule of cool points or these protagonist points or something where the rules don't actually cover what you're doing there. You just spend a cool point and like you make it happen. That's not what I wanted to do. I want to have robust rules that allow you to have kind of a rules mastery. So the more you know about the game, the more you can accomplish like in the game. And like you can play out those type of scenarios using just the rules without having to rule of cool things and
right.
Just a DM fiat or just make stuff up on the fly.
Yeah, it's a good way to do it. I think the time is I think there was a time for those rules, and that time is long gone now. Just because it's been overdone, and people have realized like, well, rule of cool means that I never fail.
Exactly.
And honestly, it's not quite what it was probably set up to do. I think it was probably set up with the best of intentions, but I think that's kind of where it led. In that, just people just use it now as a way like, yep, I can never die.
Not to bash Lancer again, but Lancer has a rule where you can never lose your mech ever. Like if your mech gets destroyed, you can instantly regrow it in the lab the same day, like and get it back with everything. It's like
why?
To me that it's so much more interesting. Where if you had like if your mech was destroyed. Now your pilot lives. You're an experienced badass pilot that has to get into a fresh mech that doesn't have all the upgrades, but you use your skills and your piloting experience on the battlefield to like get the most out of that vehicle. Like there's so much more role-playing opportunity there. Rather than just regrow your stuff in a lab. To me, that is just it's too much.
It's a cop out. Yeah, Patrick Demo has to run. He's hosting a game. Patrick is a great guy. I got to meet him at Gen Con this year, but he just backed. And I actually checked; it went up. So yeah, looks like you got another sale or two. Hopefully, you guys are at least thinking of it. Give it a good look. I've given you a little taste here, but go over to the Kickstarter page and
Thanks, Patrick. Thanks. Anyway,
check it out. It looks pretty solid. $38 shipped for a hardcover book like this. It's like at least 200 pages. I think you said, correct?
Yeah, it's about 215-ish right now.
215. That's about as good a bargain as you're going to get these days. And,
I mean, every single page looks like what you just previewed. Like it's all jam packed with like vibrancy and like cool art and cool fonts and like just the whole design is we've spared no expense, in the words of John Hammond Jurassic.
Are there any plans for any kind of like future expansions on this if you once this wraps up?
We're kicking around some plans for it. Frank wants to do really take it in the Terminator direction and have like not to spoil anything, but like humanity has won this war and now they have to fight the AI that they created to win the war. So it's like they, your own mechs basically turn on you type of scenario. That could be fun.
Now you're sitting around with a group playing this. I imagine you've play tested it. Does it work best if the group is like PvP or if they're all kind of on the same side and the DM just kind of sets up either kaiju or other mecha for them to fight?
Yeah, it's designed for a single team on a single faction. Interfactional play is not a thing. You can't, I mean, you could force it to work. There are ways you can make it work, but it's not meant for that. Like one of the factions is the alien invaders who want to destroy humanity. You're not going to have one of them in your group playing alongside you as a human being. This is not, whatever Forgotten Realms where you have demons and orcs and everything walking around with halflings. Like, no, it's not like that at all. But you can. So there is PvP in the game. You can. Normally, the GM would control the kaiju and your obstacles that you would face, but if you want to have like a quick skirmish, you as a player can pick up a kaiju and pit yourself against some other players. Maybe they're in mechs, and you can have like some PvP skirmishes that way too.
All right.
Can kaiju monsters? No, there's no kaiju. There's no kaiju in this game.
Sketchosaurus, good to see you here, my friend. What about countries like the Americans? I think it's more like the three factions, right? I think that's Gridcom, Remnant, and Order Transcendence.
Yeah, pretty much. There is some kind of nationalistic stuff going on there. Like the U.S. Remnant is the remains of the United States, and they're very much like the Brotherhood of Steel from Fallout. Like, they want to restore America to its splendor and bring back humanity. And then you have the other Gridcom faction, which is set in Japan, and they're like the anime, like high tech, like last bastion of humanity. So there's some kind of nationalistic stuff going on. The aliens
flavor,
yeah. The aliens took over communist Russia, the CCCP, so they kind of have this very militaristic, totalitarian look and feel to them. So yeah, and not necessarily country versus country, but there's some elements of that to it.
Yep. Good point, Surly. Never deny your players the chance to fail. Yep. If it's not there, they will start to lose interest, even if they pretend otherwise, tell you to your face otherwise. Yeah, Bleeker, $30. That's the cost of a small fried hamburger at McDonald's. Well, it's
not for much longer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thankfully. But right now, yeah, it's at least a third the cost. Yeah. So what can I say? It's a pretty good bargain. So give it, like I said, guys, give it a good look here. We'll share it one last time before we let you go. The Kickstarter page.
Sure.
Yep. So we got 2782. Got a couple of sales today. I know one of those is mine. I just did it right before I logged on.
Nice. Yeah. Thank you.
Choose your faction, customize your pilot, outfit your Titan, wade into the scorched wastelands of fallen Earth to defend humanity. Like I said, this would be a perfect little short arc campaign. Taking if you want to take a break in between D&D and something else. Trust me, the last thing you want to do after you've been playing D&D is play something else, just exactly like D&D. And this looks like just the right tonic for that.
Right. And you can have a full campaign in this, but the scale of power accelerates so rapidly that by the time you get to like 10 or 11 basic like missions or sessions, the campaign probably would need to start wrapping up at that point, because the level of cataclysmic weapons and damage that's going out at that point, the game starts to slow down, which is not a fault on the game. It's designed to be that way. Like, you're not going to be playing the same campaign. I guess you could try to play it for like 10 years or whatever, but it's designed for faster skirmishes.
I think anybody who maybe is a little bit familiar with this, category of games, I mean, they probably are fine with that. They realize there's an expiration date on your campaign, just like you said, due to the insane weaponry. Got tactical nukes and all that stuff going out on your Titan. Things aren't going to be the same pretty quickly. I love the bucket of dice. Love the layout. When are you targeting that you might? I don't want to hold you to it, but what is your expectation and hope, we'll just say, of when people might have this book in their hands?
PDF, probably right after Christmas. And there may be some tweaks necessary for the PDF as people get it in their hands. That's very typical. and then we'll send it off for the final print, and hopefully it'll arrive around March, April. Can start getting that in people's hands.
Excellent, excellent. All right. There we go. All right. Anything else you want to say in closing, Greg? I think this is a good campaign, and like I said, if I'm willing to put my own money out there and buy it, I think you folks in the chat or anybody watching after, at least give it a look, see if it's for you. If it's not, that's great. But if it is, there's worse ways to spend $38 these days. Trust me.
I mean, if you are at all remotely interested in Godzilla movies or old school anime or even old school 80s action movies, and you want an RPG with that look and feel, you're not gonna go wrong with this one. Like, you're not gonna pick this book up and flip through and be like, oh shit, what did I spend my $30 on? Like, you're not gonna be disappointed, I guarantee.
Yep, for sure. Shark, a good way to send us out with Greg. Sounds cool. Hope you win big. We do too. Coming up, 8 days left, guys.
Yeah.
If you're on the fence, at the very least, just hit the remind me with 48 hours to go. That way you can maybe determine if that's something you want to do, at that point. So if you're not willing to pull the trigger now, see how you feel in a week, or, a little less than a week now. And, like I said, we want to support guys like this. We're not supporting folks like Wizards of the Coast, who a little birdie, as I said on Twitter, told me I have let's just say I have a Spionim at Wizards of the Coast right now, and he told me that there's been a lot of mental health days taken this past week.
Oh my god!
Yeah, hilarious. So yeah, I mean, like, why support folks like that? This is two guys putting their heart and soul into something, and look, you can tell. So
yeah,
like I said, give it an honest look. Greg, it was great having you on today, and great talking with you. I wish you nothing but success, and I'm really actually eager to get this in my hands.
Well, thanks a lot for backing in, and thanks for having me on.
Yep.
If you want to talk about anything else RPG related, I'm around.
Yep. We'll definitely keep you in mind for sure. It was a good conversation, as they say. So hopefully we will talk very soon.
All right. Thanks again.
All right. Take care, Greg. All right. There you guys go. Like I said, good guy. I'm kind of picky as to who I have on to support and all that. I have no problem supporting folks like that. This Wednesday, actually on the regular lair, we have Black Lodge in their next project. Like I said, I have no problem supporting those guys either. Venger, I like his stuff. Pundit, Chris Miller. I don't know. It's an eclectic bunch. Basic Expert, I like his stuff. So give it a look. Like I said, I'm not like huge into reading like the anime and stuff like that, but I do have fond memories that newer Godzilla movie in the theater, the Japanese one, man, that was really cool. I really dug that. Let's see here. Guyver, yeah. Mentioning the Guyver sold me. Yeah. All right. Do you guys do you want to go through some more meltdown videos post election? We'll do a couple. We'll see how it goes. Let's see here. Oh boy. This guy has a really good thread on X. Shell shock. All right. Here we go. They're still crying, folks. They're still crying.
I'm going to get drunk today, and I'm going to act like an angry black fucking woman because I'm fucking angry. I'm mad. I'm upset. I'm angry as fuck, bro. I'm angry. I'm hurt. My feelings are fucking hurt. We always finish last. We always come fucking last to everybody, even our own fucking men. And you niggas mamas be black. This shit is crazy. Y'all got black ass daughters. I'm angry as fuck. I'm gonna get drunk and cause a problem.
We always finish last. I'm going to go get drunk. Okay. Next. Oh, here we go. One thing you have to look out for in these is the eyes. As they say in politics, the eyes have it. Well, here, the eyes do have it.
Bitch, are we serious right now? Are we serious? Fuck the sad music montage, bitch. What in the fuck? I'm mad as hell. What the fuck is going on? Y'all sitting here crying. I'm crying too. I'm mad. What did y'all do?
Oh boy. If anybody wants to, I got a little time here. I'm gonna put the link in the chat if anybody wants to join me. Certainly don't fire until you see the crazy in their eyes. I tell you, the amount of white in these eyes, even someone like Double D wouldn't be able to miss those. Yeah, these people are why we have the electoral calls. Exactly, Bleecker. Yes. I mean, I don't want to say they're all like these like 20-something-year-old lunatic women, but look, when you see 95% of them are that, I don't know. What's up, Cal? Good to see you. All right. The beatings will continue until morale improves.
Lock him up. Lock him up. Lock him up. Lock him up! I'm going to need to call in sick from work today.
Oh, delicious. Absolutely delicious.
I've been crying for 24 hours. I went to work and was working while just tears coming down. I ruined my contacts. I haven't been this heartbroken since my dog died.
I mean, what do you do with that level of brainwashing? It's almost not their fault. When you have somebody telling you 24/7 that the Nazis are about to take over and they're going to, it's going to be Handmaid's Tale. Now, you can rightfully ask, well, how could anybody who has a modicum of intelligence believe that stuff? All right, point taken. But still, I do have some sympathy for these people. Obviously, they turned their brain off when it came to that and started to believe this nonsense. I mean, it's not like you didn't have 4 years of a resume to go on before. And in fact, the stuff that a lot of us were, a little bit, upset with Trump over, the kind of how he knuckled in on some of those, the COVID restrictions and all that. These people should have been over the moon about, but they're so deranged in their hatred, they can't even see like, oh, well, he actually did that stuff that we kind of liked. Yeah, no, we don't. And that's the thing. there aren't like reaction videos like this out there for when Biden won, because everybody just said, that sucks. A lot of people said, smells fishy. And if you look at the raw numbers, there's still a little bit of fishiness when you look at the total vote. But still, most of us just went back to work. To be fair, there's a fair number of folks, on that side too, that have just kind of, the way to tell. And I think I said this on Wednesday, my little walking poll of the street signs ended up being very accurate. It gave you the margin in Erie County, Pennsylvania, the Bellwether County. I still have to see the totals in the city. If the city was 60-40, I gave you the exact margin or the exact percentage totals in the city of Erie. 60% Harris, 40% Trump, which I said was actually good for Trump because Biden, it was like 65-35. But I'm going up and down my street today. Now, of course, for like one day after the election, I left my sign out and then I took it in. Most everybody else has taken theirs in. But the lunatics, the people, like my one neighbor, they still have their signs in, and I guarantee you those signs will probably be there at Thanksgiving. That's sort of the new way to tell, like, if somebody's just crazy, is leaving their Harris Wall signs in the ground for, months after. Surly's asking about Wayne. We're going to dump Chump. Dump and Chump. I wish I knew. I wish there was some way I could talk to Wayne. But that's, it's kind of sad. Oh, I think this is a good one. I've seen some of these.
I may be drunk, but I'm dead ass serious when I say fuck you if you voted for Trump, and here's what I think about it.
Classy. Very classy.
If you thought I hated white men before, you don't even know what's coming for them crackers.
Do we get to say what we think of other demographics and sexes? Is that on the menu all of a sudden? Are we allowed to do that, or is it just this one side that's able to do that? I'm not quite sure. Oh, here we go.
You picked a fucking rapist. You picked a rapist. You picked a fucking rapist. How fucking dare you?
It's lunacy. It's lunacy. What's up, Doc?
Hey, man, how's it going? This is some fun shit right here.
Oh, my Lord.
Which is the funny thing about this claim right here is that Clinton and Biden are actual serial rapists and almost certainly pedophiles.
Yes.
And not like the stuff they pull on the Republicans where 40 years later, somebody makes some crazy accusation that can't be substantiated. We're talking about dozens of women who immediately went to the police and were blown off.
Bill Clinton was in Erie, our town, because it's, they consider it so important. Each side did. He's in town like the weekend before the election. It's like everybody just, I guess, forgot that it's not even in doubt. I mean, how many times did this dude go to Epstein's Island?
16 that we know of ditched the Secret Service while he did it.
Yeah. And meanwhile, they have to make up stuff like, well, Trump was there too. And they're like, no.
Can you imagine if one of Trump's daughters had a diary entry that came out in public saying the crap that Biden's daughter said about him? Can you imagine the insanity? But completely, but these are the same people who think there's a genocide going on against trans people.
Yeah.
Where are the bodies? These are the people who claim like thousands and thousands of black people are killed by the police every year. Actually, it's usually around 10 to 15. amount of victims, the number of white people that get killed by the police that aren't. But and they're all published. Everyone who gets shot by the police, the names get published.
Yep.
They just hear. These are the people who think that 1 in 4 women get raped. Actually, it's like 1 in 1,500. Actually, look it up.
They have to invent this reality where this stuff, and that's where I say I almost feel bad for them. I mean, I don't feel bad that they aren't intellectually honest or curious enough to like say, all right, that doesn't sound right. Let me at least look into it. But in the same respect, you have somebody every day telling you like, oh my God, women are going to be dying, because, they have an ectopic pregnancy, in the parking lot. Like a doctor is not going to, it's all nonsense. It's all bullshit. But what do you do to people that have been sort of fully, I guess brainwashed is sort of the right term.
Well, I think there's like a hangover. There's like a hangover from a period. There was a period where like the DEA or like, the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, was basically doing its job. Yes, there was always corruption, but they were basically doing what they were supposed to be doing. There's times when the news was basically accurate. There was always bias, but more or less you got the story. And I think there's this hangover to that where people think this stuff is trustworthy, whereas these organizations in their death throes have just become insane and just throwing ridiculous stuff out there. And people just, well, I heard it from an official source. It must be true. And I think there's a huge number of people who just react to that stuff. I mean, these are people who think they're basically already living on the verge of Nazi Germany right now. They think people are being exterminated left and right. They're death camps that, they're just not talking about. It's like, where? Show me one.
But that's appealing to logic, and that honestly, it doesn't work with these people. It honestly doesn't. We'll watch another one here.
It's the day after the election, and I woke up at 4:00 in the morning in tears.
Tears?
Partially because of how the outcome was, but also because of my disbelief that so many people
are saying
somehow weren't represented. The majority of the people that I spend my time with and that I even talk to socially, not even very close to me, we're going to vote for Kamala. And I woke up sad, but also I still have this feeling that we're not done, that there's more to be said about this.
Yeah.
And isn't it American of us to question?
Sound like an insurrectionist there, Karen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on now. That's insurrection talk.
Or your friends were telling you they're going to vote for Kamala because they didn't want you to mace them.
That's right. Where I work, there's this guy. He's actually a nice guy. We have like a lot of the shared interests, but he's a lefty, and there's no doubt to it. And you can tell he goes around and he'll try to he knows not to do it with me anymore because he knows where I stand, but I'll see him go around to these people and the conversation will start about something else. And then he'll kind of bring it back to not like, the racism going around. And you can just tell he's trying to work all these people. And I'm just like, dude, I know that person you're talking to is voting for Trump. I know that person is statistically more than half are voting for Trump. But it's so funny seeing them go around trying to talk people into it. And most of the people will be very nice to his face and be like, oh yeah, and they'll nod their heads, and I'll be like, they're lying to you. You're making people lie to your face, and that's what folks on your side do, because they don't know if you're going to flip out.
Yeah, I think that's why they hate Trump so much, because he doesn't act to the part. He doesn't act like the statesman they're expecting, because they're in this position where as long as the person is behaving in a certain way, they can just pretend everything's okay and not deal with it. And Trump doesn't do that. He's crass, he's rude, he's obnoxious. And that's not how he's supposed to act. It just drives them insane. Not because really anything he's saying. He's not saying anything that terrible. He's not saying anything like Clinton didn't say or Obama about immigration. But the fact that he's just the way he is about it makes them nuts because they actually have to think about it then.
Yeah, it is funny. You go 10 years ago and you'll see like Chuck Schumer talking about, well, yeah, we need a wall. We need this. And it's like, what happened in between? You know, it's like, it's hard
John
to take
McCain, build a damn wall.
Yeah. And Jay Cal is right. Fortunately, they're not having kids. Yeah, that whole 4B movement. Maybe we'll get to some of those here. We'll keep going. I'm sure we're going to run into a one of those ladies.
And one more thing. In 4 years, there better be 2 women on that fucking ballot. There better be. I don't want a single fucking man. I do not care if he is the most qualified man in the world. I don't want him on that fucking ballot because there have been hundreds of qualified women.
Well, why don't you nominate one instead of morons? I will happily vote for a qualified woman. You have not shown me one. I'm sure they're there.
As somebody said, first Trump beat Hillary, now he beat Kamala. He's beaten more women than Doug Emhoff.
I'm fucking feral today.
I'm betting you're feral a lot of days.
Yeah. People do not make eye contact. Do not square up at me. Don't act like you know
Who's
me.
squaring up on you?
Like, I want to eat. Like, maybe they voted for Kamala, but like, I want to eat them right now. Like, I want to take a bite out of those glutes in a bad way. I'm fucking
No, in a good way. In a good way. You're lying to yourself. Go.
These people might even agree with me. I want to be physically violent towards them because they're there.
I do love though how her mind, her mind took her somewhere, and right away. I want to take a bite out of those glutes. In a bad way. Okay. Oh, this is. I saw this. Be prepared for this one, Doc. This is a good one.
That
here.
nose ring is all I need to see.
Yeah. What is it? They all have these bull nose rings in. Yeah, she has a message for folks like us and most of the chat here, guys. In the chat, you ready?
Prepare to be enlightened.
All right, here we go.
Hey, if you're a Donald Trump supporter, you're ugly and dumb, and that's sad for you. And what's even sadder is that you don't even realize how ugly and dumb you are. I just scum, bottom of the barrel scum, literal pond scum. Go fuck yourselves. Also, Donald Trump supporters, please come into my comments with those stupid copy paste laughing emojis. I would love to go on every single one of your profiles and reply with a personal insult, because all of you are so worth insulting. It's not even hard. Because again, ugly and dumb.
Well, that's kind of a weak insult, though. I mean, it's really low effort. I mean,
and also, let's just say this: we may be ugly. We're not stupid, but if you're going to call somebody ugly, don't have a pair of beaver teeth there. Don't put a fucking ring in your nose there.
Yeah, I like her crazy smile too.
Yeah, don't have a crazy smile. Don't look like you haven't slept in 4 weeks. She's got that weird kind of like not fully grown yet, like bottom part of her face. So it's like, all right, if you're gonna call ugly, you better be at least a 8 or a 9, not a 3 or a 4. Sorry. So I'm just calling a spade a spade.
Baby, if you wanted to touch my body, you should have voted for it.
No, I do not. That you're kind of freaky looking.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, this is another good one. All right. So
this is from the Bull Dyke contingent, I'm assuming.
There's there's like the lunatic. There's just like the lunatic women who like go on TikTok and then just scream, and they probably don't ever do anything. Half the time they probably, even though they say they're doing something, they probably just put their head down or even give a smile to people. It's kind of women like this, I think, that will key your car if they find out. Like, just listen to this, broad.
If you're a conservative woman, here's how I'm going to fix your life. Okay. So you just got married to your husband. Your husband is blatant, just redneck garbage. You like him though for some reason. Something there is clicking. I'm gonna seduce your husband. I'm gonna seduce
Press
your
X
husband.
to doubt.
I'm going to look him in the eye. And I'm gonna
Like that?
I'm gonna look him in the eye.
Because he'll run for the hills if you look at him like that, honey.
Honey, I know we've been married for 20 years, but the way this chick looked at me with her bulbous nose and her her insane eyes, I fell into him, and yeah, I can't get out now.
I'm gonna explain to him that nobody has ever made me feel the way he has. And I'm younger than you conservative woman that married him. And I'm gonna start like explaining that I'm just so fun and I like doing fun shit, because you're probably married and you can't do fun shit. And then once I do that and I implement your fucking marriage arc, he's gonna cause some irrational feelings, which is going to establish itself in your marriage problems. And then you're gonna be like, why am I doing this shit for a man? This is where we get you. Get you, because then you're like, why am I supporting a guy that isn't doing anything for me? There you go.
Well, if she's
there
a
you
conservative woman, chances are she's not supporting her husband.
Yeah.
They're probably, at least on par.
Yeah, that's the petrification gate.
That's your boyfriend, honey. that you're deadbaiting off you. It's not universal.
Yeah, nix it. She does look like a 14-year-old boy. Oh my God. Yeah, the death stare. Surly, quiet woman. I'm watching Hee Haw. Look at me. I'm going to implement my marriage arc. The thing is, they post this stuff, and I think they honestly think they're like people aren't just going to mock the shit out of this.
Why do I think this woman whiteboarded this whole thing? Like, enter a marriage arc.
Yeah. She's got all the talking points set up there. All right, more shit in the face. Oh, and a ring too. I didn't even almost see it there. Yeah, it's not a bull ring, but it's on the side. Well, I tell you, that's becoming the new crazy hair. You know, they're getting smarter at hiding themselves. It used to just be like pink hair or purple hair or blue hair. Now it's the shit in the nose.
I think the only way to argue with maggots now is to not silence. They refuse to educate themselves, so I refuse to fucking talk to them. They don't exist.
Done.
Silence.
Done.
No argument.
You don't want to talk. Yeah, I was going to say, you don't want to talk anymore? That's fine. That's fine. We're good. We're good. Oh boy, here we go.
When Steve from Blue's Clues is disappointed in you, you fucked up.
Isn't he a heroin addict?
Is he really? I have no idea.
The Blue's Clues host was a junkie. I don't know what their names are.
Oh man, it also kind of shows their sort of this election should get rid of that forever. The celebrity endorsement. The only celebrity endorsement that probably moved the needle even a little bit was Joe Rogan. And guess which side he did? Taylor Swift, all the Diddy party attendees. They didn't move the needle at all. People don't give a shit what they think.
People, the celebrity thing, as soon as TikTok, as soon as they started sharing who they actually were online, people lost all interest in what these people had to say. Yeah. Because they made a point of letting everyone know how vapid and shallow they were. Because I can't be out of the public view for 5 minutes. I got to know everything I'm doing, everything that crosses my mind. And turns out most of it is incredibly stupid.
Yep. Yeah, Shark talking about Philip. Yeah, I think a lot of the women from Vietnamese women, I think, are the same that have come over here. Like Samoa is incredibly base. In fact, Tua Tagovailoa, I'm a Dolphin fan. He's the quarterback for the Dolphins, and his mother, he's Samoan. His mother's a Trump supporter. Literally had some lunatic lefty on Twitter say, "I hope your son dies on the football field."
Aw, nice.
It's like the old Lord of the Rings say, well, what can you do against such reckless hate? Nothing. Like that one lady said, we won't talk to you anymore. Deal. Nobody wants to talk to you, you know, especially us. But what you don't realize is the worst of you on that side, even the normal people on your side are like, we don't want to fucking talk with you. Oh, Steve.
Yeah, and in some ways, I'm more annoyed with people, the so-called moderate leftists, just for enabling this shit and being quiet about it. These people at least are insane. You can at least excuse a crazy person for being.
But at least
crazy.
there's a chance. At least there's somewhat of a chance with some of those folks. Some of those folks are the ones that do end up waking up. You know, they were. You do hear their stories a lot, and it's like, yeah, I was on that side, and then I just started to look around me, see what was around me. So yeah, as disappointed as you can be in some of those folks, you got to at least leave room in your heart that, okay, there's a chance with them. They at least aren't this. They aren't this what you're looking at here.
I'm tired. I'm numb. I'm struggling to know what happens next. But the one question I do have is, how do we keep each other safe?
Safe from what?
I'm numb.
Safe from what?
Yeah, I mean, what exactly are you worried is going to happen?
It's like you were around. The only thing he did is he said you can't serve in the military because half of these people are doing it just to get like health care. You know, they're going into the military and then transit, and it's like, no, it doesn't work like that. Sorry. All right.
But in the next election, can we just publicize who people voted for? Because I'm sorry.
I voted for Trump, sugar. Any questions?
Sorry, but if you're going to vote for a felon, racist, misogynistic, idiot, Cheeto of a man.
Cue those pictures of Trump with Jesse Jackson, Rosa Parks, you know, all those black people who loved him before he ran for president and said, you know, maybe we should close our border.
These are the same people. When Larry Elder was running for governor in California, one of these white woke chick with a gorilla mask on was throwing eggs at him, making monkey noises.
Yes.
Not a single person on the left had a thing to say about that.
Yeah, you have never seen. We know the 3 rules of SJWs. They always lie, they always double down, and they always project. Yeah. So when they sit there and call everything racist, they are 100% racist, and all you have to do is, as you said, put a black conservative in the same room with them and see how they freak out. It will reveal them so quickly. It'll make your head spin how vicious this party is. But then again, as we keep pointing out, it's the party of slavery. And as much as they want to admit, like, Republicans were Democrats back then, it's like, nope. Sorry.
I can think of one. Strom Thurmond is the only guy I can think of who switched Dixiecrat, who switched the Republican Party. There might have been 1 or 2 more, but that's the only one that comes to mind.
Yep.
So where is this big switch? When did it happen? Who are the people involved? Where is it? Where is it?
Yeah. Did it happen in the 1930s when FDR was around? I mean, does that mean Republicans are big government?
and own that, like, you should have to own that decision, and that should be public.
I do own the decision.
Knowledge, and
I am making it public knowledge. What are you going to do about it?
Your future employers should know, and anyone you encounter should be able to look that up, because who the F are these 73 million people that did this?
What's really fascinating
That's the best line there. Yeah. Who are these 73 million people?
This is something the Nazi Party literally did in Austria when they were voting to join Germany or not. They prevented secret ballots. They came in and took out all the screens and said had to sit there and watch you, because what are you hiding? What do you have to hide? Yeah. You should have nothing to hide. Yep. This is exactly something the Nazis actually did.
Yep. Of course. Yeah. These are. It's as many people keep saying. I think even Elon says it's not really so much a battle of left and right anymore. It's just authoritarians versus people who want freedom and want the government off their back. And these people on the left are authoritarians. I'll call them out every single time. As you just said, they want violence, they want intimidation, and fuck them. I'm through with it. People should know, bitch.
I was walking around today in this fucking hat. Everybody knows who I voted for. I got news for you. I'm 6'4", built pretty good still. Ain't nobody going to say a fucking word to me. Ain't nobody going to say a fucking word to me. So this little fantasy you have where I go around and, oh my God, I'm going to catch shit. Bitch, nobody's given me shit since I've had this hat on this whole election cycle. This whole last, half year.
I have decided that my personal revenge for this 2024 election fiasco is to be a menace to men on
Oh, good Lord.
I'm going to re-download probably just Tinder and Hinge and match up every single man. Say I'm down for hookups.
Press X to doubt.
Give them
more
my
shit in the
Google Voice
face.
number, talk with them. Say, yeah, I'll come over. Yeah, I'm on my way. Yeah, I'm 5 minutes out. What do you mean? I'm here. Don't you see me? Guess what? I won't be there, and I'm gonna ruin your plans. Anytime you make plans with me, I will lie to you, stand you up, ghost you. I'm just gonna be a menace. Because why not? Men don't like women. I'm gonna start actively practicing misandry. And that's my personal goal for 20.
I'm guessing you're not going to start doing that so much as continue. And as far as your threat, I mean, if you worked at that a year, you might get 2-3 guys to be annoyed for 5 minutes. And then probably think, oh, thank God I dodged a bullet there. What was I thinking?
yeah. And look, these people probably aren't cleaning up on the dating apps. Let's just leave it at that. All right, let's see what this. Finally, it's not a crazy woman. It's a brother.
All right, cousins, let's have a chat. All right. So to anybody that thinks, oh, we're done for, we're doomed, it's over. It ain't over yet, and let me tell you why. So there's two main reasons, right? Number one, JD Vance fixed his lips, got on that stage, and said, "We have a little secret that nobody knows about." And number two, Joe Biden is the current sitting president of this country. At any moment, he can evoke the 25th Amendment, which is constitutional, which would allow him to step down, and Kamala Harris steps up, and she would be the current president. And she could detest the fraudulent activity that's been going on.
I'm sure she detests it already. What do you say?
She could detest the fraudulent activity.
I don't like this. I don't like it. He's not president. I don't like it. I'm not good with this. I gotta say no.
I love how their brains operate, though. Like, yeah, Joe Biden's just gonna. I have never seen Joe Biden happier than when he came out for that press conference the other day and announced that President Trump was the president. You can almost read on his face who he voted for. I mean, he has to say what he has to say, being a lifelong Democrat. But you can almost read it on him. He was almost ebullient, as they say.
I'm delivering 3 sermons today, each one to a different group of people. And this one is for the Trump supporters. You are going to hell for this. You're going to hell for this.
You're going to hell. So you walk into your church and you see this lunatic with a collar saying, if you voted for Trump, you're going to hell. A nice nose ring again. I hope we're at least educating the chat. Like, this is what you should be looking for.
I'm going to make a guess that no one who shows up at your church voted for Trump.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's in their case. Yeah, it's probably. God, these nose rings. No men tapped by their nose ring.
You have blatantly disregarded your neighbor. You have failed to care for the widowed, the orphaned, and the immigrant. You have committed idolatry, and you have become lost in your greed and your lusts. You are proud and envious. And
so I got to ask, and I'm not saying this for effect or for humor. I got to ask, is this a guy or a girl?
I think he asked that a lot.
I honestly don't know.
It's Pat, Reverend Pat.
Yeah. It's there's like some Truman Capote-esque like features about this person, but I think it might
be a guy, but I'm not quite sure.
You will face that reality on Judgment Day. A lot of you have become too arrogant to believe that you could go to hell. A lot of you have become so idolatrous that you don't think that man could get you there. But you are wrong. And I have never felt something with such conviction in my entire life. And I don't come to you as a saint. I come to you as a fellow sinner. You can repent. You can walk away from this. You can start to atone. But I doubt any of you will. I think that if God himself came down from the heavens, laid hands upon Donald Trump and
laid hands on Donald Trump. I love how God would come down and put his hands on Donald Trump. But what will he do?
called him the Antichrist,
Oh, he came down just to call him the Antichrist.
you
All right.
would still follow him. Because what? He's promising to make eggs a little cheaper? Like, I'm not happy.
That's their new tactic. They're mocking people. What? Just because you want cheap eggs, cheap gas, is that worth it? Yeah, it is. Dumb.
Well, I don't
It's
want
completely
to be
worth it.
and starving. Yeah. It's kind of important to me. Call me petty. Call me a materialist. I don't want to be starving in the gutter.
Bleeker, is this the guy from Children of the Corn?
We have your woman, Trump. Put it back.
I do feel bad for these churches that have been completely subsumed, like with these lunatics, these utter and complete lunatics. I'm sure a lot of them didn't start out.
No, you know what it
completely
was?
like
'Cause
this.
when I was a young boy, I was very much a leftist, and I was part of the activist left. And even then, you had like the crazy whack job feminists in there and stuff like that. And most of the activists thought they were kind of crazy, but it was one of those things. Well, they do good work. Yeah, they're a little over the top, but let it go, let it slide. Don't get upset. And this is what happens: they take over, and they drive everybody with a bit of sense out.
Yeah, they're very. One thing you have to say about that side, they're very good at doing that kind of stuff. They're very adept at like saying, "I'm going to accept this position of like hardly any money, what at the time might be very little influence, just to work towards a common goal." You really do have to give it up to that.
Oh, the discipline they showed,
education.
yeah.
They
long
work.
march to the institutions. They took that seriously, and they did the work. You got to give it up for them there.
And it is kind of because they are sort of all on the same track. They all kind of think alike, and so they're always going to have the advantage. Whereas we're always kind of a little bit more freedom loving and fighting with each other, often insanely so. So we're busy doing that while they just keep accumulating power. And then, like you said, you turn around and what happened to my church? What happened to my school? It's sad. And the thing is, I think we have to do a little bit more of what they do and just kind of be patient. And well, let me tell you this, like nobody wants to be a teacher anymore.
They won't let you. You have to like sign like a pledge to this crap to even graduate from education school.
Well, I'll tell you what, where we live, they're so desperate for teachers. They will literally hire anybody with a degree. I mean, there's no politics about it. There's such a shortage. This is where if you're younger, a little bit more, lean a little bit more centrist or conservative, this is where you can kind of make a difference. Because we're currently looking at what the public education system has kind of done to a lot of these folks. You get a couple of teachers like this that set them on this path, and then they go to college, and that's where it kicks into high gear. And then you've kind of lost your child or whoever.
And it's not like they're even doing their base job. I mean, look at how test scores have just degenerated.
Oh yeah,
over the last like 10, 20 years.
Yeah. I have some hope for like this latest kind of generation, these like 20-something-year-old, especially the guys who have finally said enough. Fuck you. That's why they went for Trump. And it's because they're tired of being called Nazis. They're tired of being called garbage for all these immutable characteristics that they're born with and can't do anything about. yet they're meant to feel ashamed for it, and they're finally saying "fuck you" and "goddamn right, fuck you," because what do they have to be ashamed of? That they're born a white male?
That was their ultimate mistake, was just half the population. All the men are filth, you're garbage, you're vermin, you're scum. From the time they're kids, you're right off the bat, you're losing half the population. How many people are really going to put up with that?
I can't stand them most of the time. But if you want somebody honest on the left, it's Bill Maher. And he's just saying how much he despises these people. Like he was saying on election night, they kept like texting him like, well, you can't fix stupid, coming from that side, meaning, America's stupid for voting for Trump. And Bill Maher wasn't having it. He's like, no, he's like, you guys are the ones that are stupid. He's like, we have to look in the mirror and figure out, why are we losing all these middle class, working class voters? Why is it the only category we have are the quote unquote educated, white, mostly women voter who are going to college and expressly being brainwashed by this garbage. And they will forever start losing these blue wall states. Although 2 out of 3 elections, it's turning into a red wall. And if this is where the working class is, and you keep playing to a bunch of lunatics, good luck with that, because you will never win another election until you start talking to those people.
With the price of eggs either, but I am not willing to risk my eternal soul for it. I am not going to place a convicted predator into
playing
a position
God.
of power
I like this guy playing God.
That gas will be under $3 a gallon. I am a simple man, and I am not that greedy. You had 2 choices that did not involve you putting into office the best friend of one of the most prolific child traffickers in modern history.
The best friend. Is he talking about Epstein?
The only connection they can make between Trump and Epstein is him banning him from his properties.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
What
are you talking about?
Absolutely insane. I got a super chatter to clean up here. Just wanted to double check, make sure I didn't miss any others. All right. Asterion Moloch, $5. Found a cool looking game on BackerKit about Space Marines killing shit. It's called Stay Frosty. Looks pretty cool. Wanted to give it a shout out. There you go. Stay Frosty, guys. Check it out on BackerKit. I might do the same. I have some of them Warhammer minis too. There's one more. Oh, Mercurius is here. Thank you, sir.
Hey, Mercurius.
1 membership. Much appreciated, my friend. Thanks as always just for coming and hanging out with us, though. Let's see who else. Ooh, Laren Jaco's here. Good to see you from Brazil. John Osborne. Cold War Tuesday. Horrible 99. Yeah. All right, we'll do one more short segment of this guy, then we'll move on, because I think we know where this dude
downsized
stands.
your life, gotten rid of that big giant truck of yours, and all your expensive weapons, or
I like how he's picking on like just what he thinks conservatives buy. Big pickup trucks and guns. You could have gotten rid of all that.
You could have gone out and fought for higher pay or an end to corporate corruption. You chose to do neither of those things because it was easier to blame immigrants. And that is laziness, that is sloth. You saw hatred as the path of least resistance and the best way to maintain your lifestyle. And you took it. You took it at the expense of the lives of so many of the neighbors you are supposed to be loving.
The lives. Like they're being killed or something. Insanity.
Harris was our last chance. It's over. This country just died.
It is. Better leave.
You motherfuckers were so threatened by a woman being in charge. It's not even about color. It's about a woman being in charge.
All right, so I want to bookmark these, when Tulsi Gabbard runs in, 4, 8, 12 years and gets elected. What's this dumb broad going to be saying? We can't elect her. We can't afford this woman president. It ain't about a woman as president. It's about having a liberal woman as president, and that's an entirely different thing. And sorry, not going to happen.
A woman making things better.
Nah.
That y'all are so threatened by a woman that you let a felon, a rapist, and a racist, narcissist, fascist be in charge. Shame.
They're always so ugly. I mean, and I guess I just don't mean that like physically, but like it's like it comes up through them.
Yeah.
I always compare it to like when Bilbo grabs for the ring in like the Lord of the Rings movies, and that one scene, you know, like just for a moment, you know, that ugliness inside before he gets rid of it.
Yeah, the attitude comes way through in your appearance, very much. A person who's just like mean and pissed off just looks awful.
You can read it on them a mile away. Like if I saw this chick, I wouldn't pay her any mind, but I would not engage with someone like that. And not because like I'm afraid, it's because I just
why do that to yourself?
Yeah, why do that? It's like, yeah, you have to start thinking about yourself too. Like, do you just want to be like have that negativity around you? Like just even if you have the armor to deflect it, it's like you still don't need it.
Jack Smith, according to a source, is in talks with Department of Justice leaders to wrap up the Trump prosecutions.
Yep.
I listened further, and I believe by wrap up, they mean
get rid of.
End them.
Sucks for you.
Yeah.
Sucks for you.
Let the nightmare begin.
Yep. As Alice Cooper once said, welcome to my nightmare.
Well, if they thought they actually had anything, they'd be pushing. They know that this is all bullshit, and they're opening themselves up to prosecution and lawsuits by continuing it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's clean up a couple super chats here. Snake Oil Sean, our friend, very generous man. Thank you so much, Sean. $10. One of President Trump's many superpowers is bringing out the crazy and causing leftists to go full mask off. You know, Sean, I've said it before. I'll say it again. It always reminds me of that test they did in The Thing, the wire test. You know, when he has like the thing of everybody's blood, and if he attacks it with like a hot wire, they'll immediately like that. That's the Trump is that. He is that test that they did in The Thing, and it really did expose these people for what they are. See, our friend Mercurius, equally generous, $2 Australian. Giving women the right to vote was a mistake. Don't think I wouldn't go that far, even though I do joke about it. Trust me, a lot of MAGA women out there, and Trump actually increased with women from where he was in 2020, I think by 2 or 3 points this time. Plenty of normal women out there who can see the light. You know, maybe we ought to just have a test to see if they've ever posted videos like the ones we're watching, and that should be the determining factor. Because there's and trying to look. My wife is MAGA. She had enough of her big thing was just she hated the way like Harris just kind of waltzed in, and there was no no primary or anything, no open convention. Just waltzed in and just took it, you know.
I'm very much down with the Heinlein model. Not necessarily all military, but you should be required to earn your franchise through some sort of difficult, thankless service that you have to do for a couple of years to show that it actually matters to you. And that's the only thing that it should affect whether you can vote or hold office. You have to serve in some capacity, whoever you are. And whatever, not everybody's suited to be in the military, and that's fine. They can find something
to do. Yeah, some sort of
you should have to earn it. You should have to earn it.
Yeah, I could get down with that.
Let me tell you something. Donald Trump is not my president. He is not my president. He will never be my president. I will never call him president. That will never come out of my mouth out of respect. If I do, it'll be out of sarcasm, making a joke, calling him something else.
Ooh, yep. Guess what? He is. He is. Oh, this.
I don't know.
I can tell already by these eyes. These eyes are crying. Wow. You see this coming. Don't walk, run the other direction.
I don't know how to explain to Trumpies that they are so obsessed with Trump because they have mommy and daddy issues. I don't know how to tell them that because they don't even realize they have mommy and daddy issues. That's where it starts. Because you want to be the golden child so bad. You want to go tell your parents, I voted for Trump. I voted for Trump. That's why it's an obsession. You're obsessed with him, baby, because you have mommy and daddy issues. Oof. That's why you don't have any healthy relationships in your life, because you don't even have a healthy relationship with yourself.
Oh, my God.
This seems like profound levels of projection going on.
The level of projection.
I want to hear from this person's parents. I really do.
We did, for the last, 8 years, we've had nothing but women who are angry at their father. Just, take a look at Donald Trump and say, that's him.
Otherwise, I do have to say, great job passing, sir. Excellent. You almost had me for a minute.
Oh, my Lord. Oh, wow. That is the biggest bit of projection I have ever seen. Daddy issues for Trump supporters. Woo.
There is a highly trained professional assassin out there right now, and you have one job. Chop, chop it.
There you go. That's at HOE.SPXMS. I normally wouldn't do this, but that was an explicit call for violence. So you can report this person. I'm sure they probably have already been chased.
And like a typical communist, she wants this guy to do the job for free.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, do it for me. Yeah, do it for me.
He's got a family
do it for free.
take care of.
Yeah.
Go up on some cash if you really want it done that bad.
Nice fucking nose ring again. Fucking lunatics. I could literally watch these things all day. They are so funny. And honestly, it really does kind of give me strength. I mean, their anger, their projection, their tears, it gives me strength. Sorry. I mean, look, if you're a normal person who's disappointed on that side, okay, I understand. That's fine. But these people, the worst of the worst, I love it. I'll lap this shit up all day long.
So, now that the
Nice
orange
glasses.
turd has won, we should now rename America Hell, because it is going to be hell on earth once they strip everyone's rights away that is no straight white cis man. So buckle up. Hope you freaking Republicans are happy.
We are. Let me speak for all Republic. We are so happy right now. Oh.
I'm out of here.
Really?
Is that a promise? You leaving the country, Maddie, whatever your name is? Oh boy.
And I love how all of them thinking them withdrawing is like going to destroy us. It's like, no, don't go. Stop.
Yeah.
Don't come back.
Please, yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. Don't stay on our account. As they used to say, don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you.
All of you men, and yes, it's primarily men, who have been commenting on my election posts and my Kamala posts are really just embarrassing yourself and proving my point further that Kamala was a far better candidate than Trump.
So an election where she got trounced is not a good indicator, but the posts on her TikTok account are. Boy, you'd almost think some of these TikTokers are narcissists.
It's like,
and
go ahead.
Just please find me a clip of Kamala stringing together 3 complete coherent sentences together.
Oh, I mean, she was the worst candidate since on either side.
I mean, there's some people who are skilled at saying nothing and talking, like sounding like they said something. She is not one of those people. She was just literally just blithering, and
Well, here's the thing, Doc. It's like we've all been that student who's unprepared, didn't study, has to talk in front of the class or, answer a question, from the teacher, and just did not do the work and trying to bullshit their way through. You know it. You feel as you're doing it, your heart's sinking because you're bombing, and everybody else around you does. And they, some of them are giggling and some of them are shaking their head. She was that every single day on the campaign trail, just so out of her depth. It's crazy how unqualified she was as a candidate. And that's why we have primaries to determine if somebody is up to the job. And when she tried to run in a primary one time before, she had to leave before a single vote was cast in any state. That's how bad she was. But people say, "Oh, well, you can't call her a DEI hire." This is precisely what a DEI hire is.
He said that's what she was. He said that's why he gave her the job. He openly said it.
Yeah, but it's also proof how you do them no favors, because when you actually are out there fending for yourself, then nothing can help you. The fact that you're a DEI hire means nothing when people can go to the polls and laugh at you. Which is what they did.
Yeah.
Worst candidate since probably McGovern, I would say.
He at least could speak.
Oh yeah, he
could string a sentence together.
That is true. Yeah.
He was at least articulate.
If you went by like raw intelligence, someone even like George McGovern would have ran circles around her. I guess then you'd probably have to say she's probably the worst candidate ever. Because, pretty much anybody before, the turn of the century just probably had so much of a better education that it wouldn't even be close. She won all those states because we're like a 50-50 nation now.
Yeah, it's true. It was purely tribal. I don't think believe hardly anyone who voted for her thought she was competent. And this is the thing about the DEI stuff. The thinking is, well, if we insist it be like, say, a black woman, well, there's probably a lot of competent black women, and there are, but those ones aren't going to be the ones picked for a DEI position because they're not leaning on that. You're going to get the bottom of the barrel person because they're the ones who are going to force their way up that ladder. They're the ones who know they have nothing else to offer. So they're going to be the ones who position themselves for that. You're not getting the best of that group. You're always going to get the worst of that group when you hire up based on that.
Yep.
Because you're selecting for the worst people. You're selecting for the people who are going to use that to their advantage because it's all they have.
Snake Oil Sean, $5, and the gif of Powers Booth from Tombstone saying, "Well, bye." Would fit in here anywhere, yeah. Exactly, Sean. Exactly.
Trump shouldn't actually have been allowed to be in the election. He should have been in a white padded room a long time ago, along with the rest of you who decided to vote for him. Also, your God or your Jesus doesn't fucking love you the way that you think they do.
How does she know that? Do you think Jesus came down to her and said, "Psst, hey girl in the purple hat with the yin yang logo"?
Yeah.
I got some A1 news for you. Keep it to yourself. But all these
you look like you'd make a good prophet. Let me let you in on the deal here. You'll sway the masses.
No, it's okay. You can laugh over my liberal tears if you want to. How many family members and
Thank you. We will.
friends and loved ones have you lost because of your hate that you were spewing in my comments?
Same as you. 0.
There is very real concern. I am disabled. I have reproductive health issues. You laugh because you feel like it doesn't affect you, but then you look around you and you...
So how is Trump responsible for your issues there? How?
You realize your circle's gotten smaller. You said you didn't want...
See, actually seems like it got a little bit bigger this time. Sorry.
Woke. You didn't want woke? Yeah? Well, that woke is my life. You don't know my life.
Don't want to.
Good luck. Good luck.
Thank you. And I have lots of luck.
Watch the people around you dwindle.
If there are people like you, I'm here for the dwindling.
Yes, please.
Yes, I did lose a lot of friends over my political opinions, and I feel better for it. Little house cleaning.
It's like I know. It's like I know people personally who have those types of friends, and you can just tell they have to walk on eggshells around them. And I would just love to express to them how much happier they would be if they got rid of, all of those people, and just to be able to finally say what you mean, to be able to speak freely. It's so freeing.
Good morning. I took yesterday to be angry and miserable, and I also took yesterday to make the decision to block my father.
Oh boy, there we go.
Who will still end up seeing this. So, hi, Dad. And yes, I did block him because of who he voted for.
Oh, geez. I mean, there's some poor dad out there, I don't know. This is going back to what I said earlier. This is why you don't hate the media enough. This is why you don't hate higher education enough. These are the people responsible for this sort of brainwashing. There's literally nothing bad enough to happen to those folks. I mean, if I watched it happen to them, whatever that may be in the world of Minecraft, I would laugh my ass off, because they're horrible people who cause these kinds of rifts.
Because he knows that I am trans, and he knows that I have had 2 abortions, and he still voted for Project 2025, which to me is reprehensible. I have my husband who loves and supports me to the ends of the earth. I have my friends who love and support me to the ends of the earth. And I have other family members who love and support me to the ends of the earth. And I genuinely do not need anyone else. I realize this is something not everyone is.
Except when she needs money.
Okay, you're trans. You've had
abortions, yeah,
and you're married to a dude. So
explain it to me.
I'm confused. I am authentically confused.
Explain it to me.
Are you just talking about the haircut?
able to do safely, and I'm very grateful for my ability to do that safely. I cut my mother off until the day she died, and
I bet you're happy about that.
Do that again.
I know they've been brainwashed, but good Lord, how thick are those glasses? Look at that. You seeing that?
Yeah, it
looks like a Hubble telescope, for God's sake. Jeez, what the hell? Yeah, but how
if you've
awful.
got a parent who's like a
awful.
murderer or something, yeah, maybe cut them off. It just literally over a political disagreement, really, and you're the sane one.
Yeah, but it's not political to them, because it's been drilled into their heads. It's life or death for the last 8 years. So to all the media people who did that, like I said, collectively, I just hope collectively and vaguely that the worst things happen to you for fomenting this type of society we have now. Because all this, look, Donald Trump is pretty much the same as he was when he declared himself just kind of like a common sense Democrat.
Yeah. He basically hasn't changed.
Same policies. Yeah. It's when Oprah had him on talking about, oh, you're going to run for president on these policies? That would be great. And then somehow these dummies keep listening to, the mainstream media, or reading Mother Jones, or all these other communist rags that get pushed to them by their college professors. They're fucking brainwashed. And you cut off your poor mother till the day she died. You're about to do the same to your father. I mean, in some ways, it's a tragedy, because everybody suffers in this. Like this person, they go to bed miserable every day of the week.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm sure that, I'm sure the father is miserable too. But you know what? Eventually, I think the father will just realize, like, I lost my kid. It's a tragedy, but the father is probably strong enough to move on. To some regard, this person is angry 24/7 every day of the week. Every day of the week. Yep, there it is. There it is. Yep, there it is. All right, well, that's the end of that particular thread. There's more from this guy. So subscribe to him if you're on Twitter. Shell Shock with 4 Ks at the end, 3 Ks at the end. Funny. Yeah, he's got like a lot of these meltdown threads on Twitter. So. All right. Well, we've been on
absolutely
for 2 hours. So.
Mind blowing.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's insane. But it's the world we live in. So what can you do? Well, thank you for joining me, Doc. I appreciated you riding shotgun with me. Always good to see you, my friend.
You too, sir. You too,
All
sir.
right,
I got to run and eat. I will catch you later. And everybody in chat, you take care of yourselves.
All right,
you
buddy.
evil, disgusting Trump
supporters. Garbage. All right. Yep. Shark. Yeah. Double D. My thoughts about teachers and college professors involve heavy stomping boots and a blood charge. Yeah. Yep. It's just, there's nothing too bad to happen to folks who foment this kind of discord in our society. I'm sorry. I'm not going to get specific, but I just don't like them. And I would never do anything to them myself. But let's just say they all went nuts at the same time. Sent to the funny farm. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. All right, guys. 2 hours. Remember to take a look at Greg's Kickstarter. It's in the link is in the description to this live stream. So check it out. If you're not sure, just hit that reminder so you can decide in 6 days whether it's for you or not. And if it isn't, that's fine. If it is, he thanks you, and I guess I thank you too. All righty. I'm going to head on out. We'll send you out with some uplifting stuff. Yeah, we'll do the quick little Bollywood one. All right, guys, we'll see you Wednesday. We're gonna have Black Lodge on Wednesday. Make sure I didn't miss any super chats or anything here. I don't think I did. I got Sean's the last one. Yep. Thank you guys for all you guys who super chatted. Support the channel. Mucho gracias. All right, guys. Where are we here? Oh, there we go. All right. Peace, love. See you Wednesday.
धीरे धीरे बड़ी चली जो थी चिंगारी छोटी थी